Another question that many of us struggle with to answer is, so why haven't you found a job yet? What's a artful, elegant way to answer that one that actually advances your story?
Um, Gosh, that's a tough question because we have to be honest and authentic. It could be that you've been interviewing, the process is taking longer in certain instances that you anticipated. It could be that the right fit hasn't been there. While you've had great conversations or interviews with organizations, at the end of the day, it's simply just not the right fit. The other is, I find with most of the individuals I coach, they're not in a position to settle. They feel they've done that throughout their careers. They've done that to climb the career ladder, so to speak. And they too are looking for that opportunity where they feel they can bring their whole person, if you will, to the role, their experiences, their personality, their talents, and they want to make a difference and want to make a contribution. So it's quite unusual for them to look to accept something. It's that whole, what is it, square peg in a round hole kind of thing. That's not really what they're looking for any longer. I'm coming across a number of individuals who are willing to try their hand at consulting, not form a consulting business necessarily, but going forward, knowing they can help that business solve a problem or pursue an opportunity, setting specific goals, and then negotiating an agreement where they will do so for 3 months, 6 months, wherever it is. It's a unique way sometimes to try on the organization and for them to try you on in terms of fit and then proceed from there. Not necessarily stopping, your job search, but just approaching things in a little bit of a different way.
Interesting stuff. So, Maxine, another question that many of us struggle to answer positively is when it's clear that you've been laid off or fired. Is there a right way and then a wrong or negative way to answer that question?
Well, I'm not really sure if either Sandra can answer that a little better than I could answer that. But I would say in terms of the communication skills view of that is to really understand that to present yourself favorably. It's understanding how that piece is put together with the organization. In that regard is really to understand yourself better, what your communication style is, how that works into the organization styles, and knowing how when you communicate that you're getting your point across in such a way that others are able then to say, yes, that's the person that we want to have here.
Okay. Sandra, let's hear from you as well. The essence of the question is positive talk versus negative talk. If you were laid off or fired, how do you address that in a way that reflects positively?
Well, I think the content that Maxine can teach us is actually probably more important when you think about what matters is how you feel about it. So picture a scenario. I don't know how many of you all out there have kids, okay? But picture you came home and you said to your child, "What'd you do today?" And your child said, "Well, I'll tell you what I didn't do. I didn't go in the cookie jar. Matter of fact, you can go over there and look, and there are no cookies there are no crumbs there. Not one crumb on the counter." And the first thought to your mind is going to be what? Somebody was in the cookie jar. So what our takeaway is from that is the more comfortable we are about the process. So for instance, if you're feeling that something is wrong with you because this happened, And I talk to people all day long, and this is how they feel. I ask them, so what happened at XYZ company? And we slide down this whole slope of defensiveness. And I end up getting a 5 to 10-minute answer about what happened. Now, what I've realized is that person felt something went horribly wrong, and mostly with them. That's the subliminal message that's coming through my mind. And if the answer, while honest, and to Harriet's point, we do need to be absolutely honest, because as Maxine knows, your nonverbals and verbals and tonals are going to go wonky when you start being dishonest, and that's just going to come through. So while you do need to be honest, the more comfortable you are with understanding the facts of the scenario, and even understanding that, we are in a disruptive world. And to be honest with you, I get less questions about that these days than we used to, now that we're in a very disruptive environment and the average executive role is only 18 months now anyway. There's so much more understanding that when companies pivot, they a lot of times need to bring in a new team. And that, if your story, and if you have your story down, which was one of the reasons why, story is probably the biggest Achilles heel for an executive. The higher up you go, the more you're wrapped in your experience and you're not understanding your story. That's one of the reasons where we required as headhunters to make sure that we gave all of our executives a full 1-hour interview preparation before they step foot in front of our client. Because understanding the story and how the outside perceives it is really the bigger issue. And if you understand the story that, look, they brought me in to take the company from X to Y, and I built it. That's what I do. I'm a builder. They were put in a more of a cruise control because they had some shift in investors who really didn't want to invest in the growth. So now I'm looking for the next opportunity where I can take a company to that next level of growth. And you segue the answer into the thing that they are actually looking for.